They say laughter is the best medicine. It's a universal language that transcends barriers, a simple act that can bring people together, no matter their differences. In a world filled with chaos and uncertainty, laughter can be a beacon of hope, a momentary escape from the harsh realities of life. It's the sound of joy, the echo of happiness, and for many, it's a lifeline. But for Sam, it was the only thing keeping him alive. Sam had always been the kind of person who could find humor in the darkest of times. He had a knack for making people laugh, even when he was hurting inside. His friends often marveled at his ability to turn any situation into a comedy sketch, to find the silver lining in the stormiest of clouds. But behind the laughter, there was a man who was struggling to keep his head above water. After losing everything, Sam decided there was only one way out: make the world laugh one last time. It wasn't an easy decision. He had lost his job, his home, and the love of his life. The weight of his losses was crushing, and he felt like he was drowning in a sea of despair. But in the midst of his darkest hour, a spark of inspiration ignited within him. He realized that if he was going to go out, he wanted to do it on his own terms. He wanted to leave a mark, to be remembered not for his failures, but for the joy he brought to others. His plan? A grand finale to his miserable existence, a prank so perfect, so absurd that it would leave the world in stitches. He spent weeks meticulously planning every detail, pouring all his energy into creating the ultimate joke. It was his magnum opus, a final act of defiance against the cruelty of life. He envisioned the laughter, the smiles, the sheer joy that his prank would bring. It was a beautiful dream, a fleeting moment of happiness in a life filled with sorrow. But as he was about to press the button, something happened. A thought crossed his mind. What if it's not funny? The doubt crept in, gnawing at his confidence. What if his grand finale was met with silence? What if no one laughed? What if they just didn't get it? The fear of being misunderstood was worse than the fear of failure. It was a paralyzing thought, one that made him question everything he had worked so hard to create. What if no one laughed? What if they just didn't get it? The fear of being misunderstood was worse than the fear of failure. It was a paralyzing thought, one that made him question everything he had worked so hard to create. He imagined the blank stares, the awkward silence, the crushing disappointment. It was a nightmare scenario, one that threatened to shatter his fragile sense of hope. But in that moment of doubt, something shifted within him. He realized that the true value of his prank wasn't in the laughter it would generate, but in the act of creation itself. It was a testament to his resilience, a symbol of his refusal to give up, even in the face of overwhelming odds. In the end, Sam realized something important. Life is the greatest joke of all, and it doesn't need a punchline. The beauty of life lies in its unpredictability, its ability to surprise and delight us in the most unexpected ways. It's a journey filled with ups and downs, laughter and tears, triumphs and failures, and through it all, the one constant is the human spirit, our capacity to find joy even in the darkest of times. Sam understood that his prank was just a small part of a much larger story, a story that was still being written. And maybe, just maybe, that was enough to keep him going. And maybe, just maybe, that was enough to keep him going. As he walked away from the button, a sense of peace washed over him. He didn't need the world to laugh at his joke to find meaning in his life. He had already achieved something far greater. He had found the strength to keep going, to keep fighting, to keep hoping. And in that moment he knew that he was not alone. There were others out there, just like him, who were struggling to find their way. And if he could bring a little bit of joy into their lives, then that was enough. Because in the end, it's not about the punchline, it's about the journey, and Sam was ready to embrace it one laugh at a time.